Alright everyone, welcome back to our 7th match against Neo Genesis in our 5v5 Gunslinger. Mythos won the last 2 matches, so we're now even with each team using their 4th person. In this case, Mythos will be using Kaze again, obviously, facing off against Mikado, who is using Gold Paladin. And remember that the Double Mulligan rule is in place, which is why each person is redoing. And also, ignore the 15k Conroe here. It's just an area glitch from last game. And Mythos starts out the same as last time, riding the Calamity Wyvern, except Mikado is actually misriding grade 1, even after the Double Mulligan. Now, most of the time, Mythos is actually kind of nice about this, and he would, if the misride goes on for too long, he would sometimes just say, you go get one, drop whatever last was in your hand, but because this is a team battle, I don't think he'll do that. Well, there's a grade 1. Hey, at least Mikado got one. We're good. We're good. I don't actually remember if he checked that or not last turn, because I'm a derp. And also, Nova should hopefully be back to help commentate, but I don't know. He went to go do something, and now I'm alone. All alone. Ignore that. And so Mythos gets to grade 3 without taking any damage so far. But dealing it out in return with a critical. Except that was a heal. As Nova would put it, the great equalizer. That only works in this case when the crit comes first and then you heal. If you heal and then crit, that defeats the point. You defeat the purpose! So he calls a Blaster Blade to retire the one rear guard, and then even though he rode Escrad, he's just trying to rush at this point. Which Mythos says no. And that's a no pass, because he's at grade 2. And finally took 1 damage. In which he uses that for Conroe to get a Perfect Guard. Perfect Guards are good. Perfect Guards are good. And then he uses Calamity Tower Wyvern, which is you Soul Blast 2 on call to draw. In which he gets Arabia. Arabia. Yeah, where the fuck did I get that? And normally you can use their skill, but he doesn't have counterblast for it, because he says no damage. And kill the rear guards. And there is both Alfreds, actually. We have the original Alfred, which is Liberator of the Round Table. And then we have the new one, which is Liberator.
So what'd I miss?
Hi there, Nova. So Mythos won against the first part. He is now facing off against Mikado, who misrode going to grade 1. But they're
Did he
What?
Did he double mulligan?
Yes, he did.
Doryan had the same problem.
And so Mikado just double crit, however, he gave 1 critical to the Vanguard and 1 critical to Monarch, which is rearguard at the moment. Of which Mythos heals the first and draws for the second. And then Mythos break ride. Of which he's going to drop and draw for Gojo. And then he fills the field to lock everything and utilize the Vanguard as much as fucking possible. So yes, that is 33k because Dragonic Overlord the Rebirth is a cross ride. Unlike the issue where we had the random 13k Dragonic Overlord the end that didn't have Overlord in the soul.
Anyway.
so that's the second attack for Vanguard. He drops 2, restand for a second time, to attack for a third time.
So that's 26, 36. That's 1, that's 2 pass. And Mythos didn't get it. If that had been a heal, I would have laughed, though.
But the difference now is kind of big.
Yeah, especially considering that technically Mythos doesn't have to break right. I mean, doesn't have to limit break. He could, but even if he doesn't, his advantage is kind of overwhelming. Mikado has to take 3 attacks. 2 Vanguard 23k attacks if it comes to that. It's basically either or. It's basically pick your poison at this point.
Mikado gets a draw, though. That's always helpful. And a crit.
And a crit, so now Mythos has to guard. I think he has it, though.
He should. You would only need 15k.
Yeah, because cross ride.
Thank you, Crossride. So then he calls another rebirth and locks everything again. So that's 23 to Vanguard twice.
So here's something interesting to note.
One of which is a critical, so that should be game.
Here's something interesting to note.
Yes?
The way that Rebirth skill works is that it locks one unit, it locks as many units as you want.
Yes.
Then after the effect is done, it counts the number of locked units, and if it's 5,
yes.
you get the ability.
We know that, Nova. Which means using Rebirth against Link Joker, as long as it's not Glendios, is actually good.
Yeah, and even if it is against Glendios, you could technically just counterblast 1 and get the ability, even if he locked 5.
As long as you don't Omega Lock and have etc. Okay, so
well,
we're going on to the next match before we miss it. The next match is Mythos versus somebody, whoever is the last player for Neo Genesis. See you soon.